This was my camera bag for almost 20 years. It was some sort of a communications satchel in World War II, and its open main compartment, as well as its single zippered pouch up front, served me well. That is, until I moved on to using both film and digital cameras. I needed more organization. So I moved on to my dad's old Filson field bag. This gave me more room for my cameras and lenses, as well as a bit more organization, but I was always bothered by both its weight and its lack of easy access to my camera gear. So, late last year, I folded and bought something I've always been against, a modern camera bag. It's a 6-liter Peak Design sling, and frankly, it's a perfect camera bag for my needs. It holds both my film and digital bodies, as well as my 3 lenses without struggle and with no room to spare. It's also made brilliantly. The only thing is, I just don't get along all that well with its modern aesthetic. And that is what led me to Wotancraft. This is my Wotancraft Pilot in 7 liters. And in this bag, I have a Leica SL2S full-frame mirrorless body, as well as a Leica M7 camera body and 3 lenses. But what I thought I would do is kind of give you a tour of the outside of the bag and show you the features, and then we'll unload it so we can see how that capacity kind of works for me. So let's start up front. First we have the clasp. It's just a number 6 clasp that's easy to open one-handed, but I found that I need 2 to close it. And then we have a row of MOLLE on each side, and we'll get into the capabilities of this MOLLE a little bit later. On each side we have an elastic pouch, and in this one I normally just carry my camera strap. And on the opposing side I typically keep this one empty for things I pick up along the way. Moving along to the back, we have a weather-tight YKK zip that closes a kind of dimensionless documents pouch. Then we have a luggage pass-through, and if we look at the bottom, we have just traditional tripod straps, and I've used these a ton. They work pretty well. Really happy with those. And that, as far as the exterior goes, is pretty much it. It's a very simple traditional bag. But the strap itself has a single adjustment point and a very comfortable pad. I love this pad. It works well. Let's open this thing up and see what I've got in here. So I'm shooting with the Leica SL2S right now. So in its place, I just have a Minolta film body. And then on this side, I've got my 90mm. And on the other side, I have my 21mm. And if you look down in there, it's a pretty traditional camera bag setup with a padded insert and then 2 dividers. One thing though that I've never seen on the camera bag before though is a removable iPad divider. And I put mine in because I like to keep my memory cards in that little divided space. It's pretty nice to have. Up front, we have a sort of quick access pouch, and it's divided. It's got 3 mesh pockets kind of divided out. And in one, I keep my lens cleaning kit. Another, I keep my filters. And then in the last one, I just keep spare batteries. But if you remember when I started this, I said that I also like to carry a film setup with me. If we look at the front of the bag, there's a flap here, and it's a full pass-through to keep like a coat or something. But there's also a hidden zip. And this hides a padded pouch that is sized absolutely perfectly for a Leica M body. I'm not certain about this, but I've noticed on Wotancraft's website that their product shots feature a lot of Leica film setups. I'm thinking somebody over there had the same problem as me and designed this because the fit is just too perfect. But speaking of Wotancraft, they were nice enough to send me a highly spec'd bag. This is your base model Pilot, no options whatsoever, and they offer a ton of options. It's kind of a modular setup. So let me get out the 10 liter and I'll kind of show you how it all works together and what else you can do and add on to these bags. Okay, this is the 10 liter Pilot. It's exactly like the black bag I showed you earlier. It's just a little bit bigger in every dimension and has a few optional add-ons here and there. The first and probably my favorite is this Fidlock clasp. I still don't understand how it works. To open the bag, you just slide the 2 pieces apart and you're in. to close it, if these things get anywhere near each other, it snaps closed. But it doesn't, like, shouldn't it? I don't know how it works, but it's incredibly convenient. I love it, and I want to figure out how to get that on my black bag. But let's move on to the Molly that we talked about earlier. Now, Molly is nothing new. Molly's been around since at least Vietnam, and the idea of adding modular pouches to a bag has been around forever. But the way that Wotancraft does it is pretty clever. For one, like this zip top bag here, or pouch, it's padded, which I don't know that I've ever seen a padded Molly pouch. But what's great about it is, again, it's sized perfectly for an M body. That has to be by design. And these pouches are available in all sorts of different configurations. This, for instance, is a drawstring top. Here's a zip top. They've got a ton of others. What I really like is the malice clips they've used. Historically, I've always had issues getting my pouches on the Molly. It's just like a pain in the butt. With these, it's a simple slide it through, you're in. Pretty rad. And you know, one of the things I really like about Wotancraft is it's not uncommon for you to log on their website and see that they've developed a new accessory or a new pouch or something to improve the line. Like you're not, once you buy one of these bags, you're not stuck with all this obsolete crap because they're always figuring out different ways of doing things, and it seems to always work together, which I think is awesome. An example of that. So this is just an insert out of the camera bag. It's made out of the same material as the insert itself. And Wotancraft sells these two accessories. This one is for, I'm guessing, camera batteries and SD cards. And this is just a simple pouch, but they're Velcro backed. So you can stick these anywhere inside your bag and, you know, customize where things go, your layout. It's so configurable. Really cool. As I cut away from that last clip, I was thinking to myself, when I edit this, it's going to sound like an infomercial. It's not, I promise. Wotancraft has not paid me a dime. But let me start with a story. My first experience with Wotancraft was about 6 or 7 years ago when I bought a Wotancraft Scout as a gift for a friend. And it was made of this like gorgeous waxed canvas, this beautiful aged leather, and this just incredible brass hardware. It was just super obvious that this thing was handmade by someone really passionate about making bags. And this is not that. When I first got this bag, there was actually some details that disappointed me. The first being plastic hardware. Also, this is not waxed canvas. This is Cordura. But I had to use this bag for a while to kind of understand Wotancraft's philosophy behind it. They wanted to make a super light, super carryable bag. And they had to make some choices to do that. Cordura, for instance, is far more durable than canvas and way lighter. And of course, plastic is quite a bit lighter than brass. And let's be honest, some of these plastics are probably longer lasting as well. But there's other examples. So I came from a Peak Design 6-liter sling. And it's famous for its camera bag dividers. They have this origami structure that allows you to make shelves, and I maintain they're the best in the game still. So when I saw this floppy thing, I was pretty disappointed. So if you want to make a square hole in your bag for a camera body, this really won't hold that shape. You'll end up with some oblong kind of squishy deal, and sometimes that can make it harder to take your stuff in and out. But again, I had to use the bag for a while to understand this decision. So my bag is empty right now, and you can see I've got 2 dividers in. If they don't provide the bag any structure at all. So if I have one camera body and one lens in here, the bag can kind of form to the shape of my side or my back. And that makes this bag incredibly comfortable. And the Peak Design's comfortable, it's made well, but this is just so configurable, and just, for one, from a fashion standpoint, the $50 price difference for me, I'll take this bag all day long. But it goes beyond that. It's just so configurable, and you have so many options, and so it's flexible. That's what it is, flexible. That's the word I was looking for. This bag can kind of form with me depending on what I'm using it for, and the Peak Design cannot. It's not nearly as flexible. It's made beautifully. It's a great value, but for me anyways, this was the way I chose to go, and I'm super happy with it thus far. If anything changes, I'll update you. And yeah, I'd love to have one of those Scouts, but man, this seems pretty hard to beat. Your mileage may vary. Mine has not yet. So anyways, I'll catch y'all next time.